The further away we get from a patriarchy, the more obvious it becomes that women need a patriarchy to save them from themselves. In today's dating market, modern women are pricing themselves out of the market by demanding more and providing less. Many are being advised to engage in activities that most men actually dislike in a serious long-term partnership or commitment. The disconnect in modern dating. Today, there's a big disconnect between what men are looking for and what women are offering. Men are looking for very basic traits, like kindness, being virtuous, and loyalty. However, for modern women, these sound like insane requirements when it comes to dating and relationships. Most men simply want a good relationship and to work as a team. The problem now is most men want the bare minimum, but are required to give more. Most men want companionship and physical intimacy, and added to that, somebody who cares about us and wants to make our lives less stressful through cooking and cleaning for us after a hard day at work. Women say they work too, and shouldn't have to give those things, but they still want a man to buy them gifts, take them out, protect them, and compliment them. So, for the price of companionship and intimacy, we offer companionship, a physical relationship, and a list of other things just to get cheated on and seem like the problem. Women's expectations of men. The reason men don't want modern women is pretty simple. We're expected to be the same traditional man we've always been expected to be. We are supposed to be strong, stoic, brave, big, tall, strong, smart, effective leaders, altruistic, and of course earning enough of a living to support a family. These expectations are placed upon us while we no longer get the traditional women of quality. It's seen as oppressive for a woman to be submissive, kind, soft, modest, graceful, and focused on caring for the home. If we hold up our end at the bargain, why would we want someone who doesn't do the same? When we see the roles reversed, and men aren't living up to their traditional role as expected by women, they're quick to call those men out as being undeserving of a good woman. Keep the same logic. They're undeserving of a good man. If you want a better understanding of what society has become, just hear me out. Women have all the powers and authority, with no responsibility and accountability, while men have all the duties and responsibilities with zero authority. And authority without responsibility is tyranny. And responsibility without authority is bonded labor. Women need to understand that respect is earned, not given. If you have a product you want to sell, but nobody wants to buy it, you can either lower your asking price or improve your product, but don't ever blame the customers. Being entitled isn't pretty. If you look at how advanced the world has become, and the unlimited opportunities the advent of the internet has presented to humanity, now is the best time for women to step into intellectual and engineering roles. Yet, they still choose to sell their bodies. Makes you wonder if it's just a function of evolution, or just how women generally have always been. Simply put, we do not need or want a woman we feel is trying to compete with us. Is peace really that hard to get when you're committed to a modern woman? I guess it is. If modern women want to continue with this mindset, they have that option. However, the smart women who go against the narrative will survive. The stubborn and mindless ones will not. If your whole life yourself has been the most important and only thing important in the world, no wonder you can't hold a relationship. To live in society means we all have to put an effort into contributing to that society. If you are selfish, you will end up by yourself. Maybe this is what society needs to weed out the bad apples. Only the strong will survive. Men and women need to do better, get themselves right with God, and be spiritually at peace. What men want. There is a reason why every major contributor to the arts and sciences has been and continues to be male. Our brains are wired differently, and our priorities are different. We seek power, wealth, and intimacy, and those drives are manifest in modern society in the form of accomplishment. Women used to seek the attention of high-value males by being high-value themselves. Now, all too many seek the attention of males by being promiscuous and exhibitionists, therefore reducing themselves to low value. A high-value male will treat them merely as temporary, discardable playthings. Women are labeling men who go their own way as women haters and condemning us, when in reality, all we're concerned about is the preservation of our identities and peace. We're essentially calling women's bluff by going their own way. Women will never be in favor of us making our own decisions because they depend on us for survival. If they don't, society collapses and they lose everything. However, if they did, we would see them for what they are actually, that is, toddlers acting like grown-ups. You are not automatically a man just because you put on a pair of pants, sweetheart. The only possible explanation for women liking other women and living together and working is that women are allowed to enter the workforce and generate enough wealth to support themselves. Since it's unlikely that women built their houses or founded the businesses or government organizations that the majority of these women work for, there aren't actually any women going their own way. Women can only attempt to forge their own paths once all of the labor has been completed for them and all of the resources are in their possession. They don't like NEGATE since the labor and resources are still controlled by men, which is understandable. How women negate themselves. They criticize men for going their own way because it prohibits them from having control over the resources. Again, women are hesitant to speak it out loud, since doing so would reveal their inability and demonstrate that they actually depend on men far more than they realize. Women like other women would vanish overnight if women weren't permitted to work in the workforce, as they were in the 20th century, because they would all be looking for husbands to support them. Instead of their intimacy, they would be more concerned with how much money they were spending on their lifestyle. They wouldn't be thinking about being physical at all. Only in the middle to late 20th century did women have access to a lifestyle where women could be romantically involved with other women in public. I believe that as more and more men go their separate ways, accumulating their own riches and living their own lives, women will become more and more destitute or reliant on credit and the government to survive. Because it's a societal norm, women frequently say one thing while really meaning another. They can't seem to approach anything in life directly, thus it's likely part of their biology as well. They aren't as literal as men are, but they are always attempting to enter our thoughts through our back doors. Because we have a variety of goals to pursue in the actual world, men cannot afford to be overly literal. Women, on the other hand, can't afford to be upfront because if something goes wrong, we know what they're up to, where they stand on any particular topic, or their genuine motives are obvious. They don't want us to truly place the responsibility on them because women are physically and emotionally weaker. Women who were more successful at influencing males throughout history pass on their genes to subsequent generations. The reasons for men disconnecting. Men used to experience less agony and suffering when they died in war, at least in the past. However, nowadays, a man who gets divorced and loses his house, children, wife, and sense of purpose is in a far worse situation than a man who dies on the battleground. Women simply want us to accept the bait and fight them in a staged game. Love is our battleground. Projecting vulnerability gives women power because it encourages men to step up, get engaged, and take care of them. However, as women showcase more and more authority, males will go their own way and seek out other motivations for living in addition to defending women. Why should we still be here if women don't require our protection? Women want men to remain by their side, take care of them, and listen to their issues, but they also want men to believe that they are not dependent on them. With the promise of freedom from males, feminism has devastated the majority of Western women. Women need males more than they realize because they are unhappy at work and are turning into crazy, lonesome cat ladies, but they won't confess it as long as it is taboo to do so. In the future decades, as our culture gets more conservative, they will eventually come to recognize it. Then, rather than saying they need males because it's true, women will claim they do because it's fashionable to do so. Do you want to know the real truth? The reason why it's so hard to smash the patriarchy as much as modern women want to, it's because we don't live in one. We live in a matriarchy. All systems and institutions in the US and West favor women in every regard, making us a matriarchy. Thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Support us and help us spread support for men around the world. Do comment and share your thoughts. We're always up for a healthy debate and discussion.